him, Josh Ruben. We also have the writer who you mentioned in your introduction, Michael Kennedy. Thank you. Well, we know her lover as your best friend, Monica. Please join me in welcoming Gigi Zumbado. We see each other in a little bit. And last but definitely not least, the badass of this movie, you guys. Please welcome Allie, who played Allie, Olivia Holt. No fun was had with this movie, you guys. As you
Tell kind of family back off.
We had so much fun making this movie. Like, I think I texted Olivia today, I love you like 7 times.
You did.
I was so excited to see her.
And I was
You know, I texted you 10 times, you just didn't read.
I told her I love you twice speaking on the phone call the other day. I got some spaghetti sauce all to myself. So don't.
We're obsessed with each other. Ew.
Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. For those of you that weren't here, maybe Gigi and Olivia in the beginning, almost half the audience had not seen the film yet. So first timers, which is great. You're continuing to inspire people with this incredible movie. But I always like to start at the beginning, and that to me is with the writer. Where did this story come from? How did it begin for you?
So, Spyglass actually reached out to Chris Landon because they actually had a script already for this movie. And they asked him if he would read it and maybe direct it. And Chris is a very honest person, and he read it and he said, can't make this movie that. It needs a lot of work. And not like in a negative way, it's just like it needs some changes. And so they were like, will you rewrite it? He goes, I want to bring in my partner on that one, me. And he said, I'm going to have him read it, and then we'll discuss it. If we think there's something we can do with it, we'll come back to it. We both read the script, and it was a really solid script, but it was very serious.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you just read like a serious horror movie.
Very like straightforward, serious slasher with kind of like a Valentine 2001 angle. Like a kid who got fucked around when he was a teenager by girls, and so he grew up to be a serial killer. And
You've seen it before.
seen it. So Chris and I read it, and we were like, what if we did like a serious rom-com, and it kept being invaded instead of about like the rom-com tropes that like just a couple apart, it was a serial killer instead. So we went off and just figured out like a really fun way into the movie and pitched it to Spyglass, and they were like, all right, start writing. So yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. It took us a few months to write the script, and then like January of 24, we were done and we started looking at directors, and we texted this guy and we're like, hey, you should do this movie with us. And Josh got the job on Valentine's Day. So, and then he was in fucking New Zealand like 4 weeks later for 4 months. Yeah, it was cool.
So, I mean, first of all, so just thinking back to that origin story of the script, though, what really fascinates me about this film, and if there's a larger question here, which I'll get into, but starting with you, Michael, like, it's like about couples, like it's all these duos that are happening throughout the film. And so can you just talk about the writing of that and how you were, these like twofers that you were kind of working with, or how almost every scene, and then obviously the killers are also a duo, like.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how like there was one killer in the original draft, and we went in and knew there was going to be 2 because we knew everyone was probably expecting what the original draft was, which was the dude that grew up to kill people because he never found love. So Chris and I immediately were like, what if they're just really fucking horny? And like we they like kill people and go fuck each other. Like that they literally get off on it. So we knew there was like a couple angle with our main couple, a couple angle with our killers, and then we considered these two a couple.
Yeah.
So we looked at the whole movie in that way. So the detectives, like there is kind of a two-hander going on throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And we wanted that to be present because we were like, this is a legitimate rom-com too. Like we wanted it to be treated seriously. We wanted their friendship to be treated seriously. By the way. And we wanted their friendship to be treated seriously. So yeah, it was fun to kind of look at all the different couple dynamics that were going on throughout the movie. And then sometimes they were crossing over, like with Mason and Jordana in the interrogation room and that kind of stuff. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun to write this.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So then you text Josh, and then
Yes.
Josh says,
No.
I was like, this freaks me out. This is it's so funny, but it's also boring. How are we gonna do it?
So I called Chris and I'm like, he's saying no. And Chris was like, call him back. So I actually
Michael's words were literally read it again, bitch. It was the combo of Michael and my wife Lauren, who shot the Allie's commercial with the fabric blood.
Yeah, Lauren was a big ally there. She was like, you should read it again. Because he told her what I said. So you should read it again.
You really didn't know.
I was just
Finished reading?
I was just basically like 10 pages and I was like, this is gonna be too. I had just done Werewolves Within. I wanted Werewolves Within to be, which I love. I really wanted Werewolves to be like a simple plan in Fargo, and it turned out to be like Hot Fuzz. But that's just kind of naturally what happens when you make a movie and you put your cast together and the music changes it, the cast changes it, and I still love it so much. I was like, ooh, no, I want to do something dark. But I realized that we really could homage Nora Ephron.
Yeah.
And we could homage like Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives. And I think we did it. But I'm thrilled that I did. I can't believe that y'all hadn't met. They had not met until they got off the plane in New Zealand. Is that right? You got off the plane in New Zealand? You two had met? You and Mason? It's just crazy.
The movie came together really quick once it finally started going.
So then speaking of that, so you then get talked into it, so like strong armed by everybody, so like, okay, fine.
Didn't take that much work.
that much.
But, so then you're talking, so if the cast hadn't even met each other yet, then can you talk about then the casting process for you? Like then what stood out from the individuals and then you see the chemistry, how they see them?
Well, Olivia, do you remember when you auditioned, just what happened? What was it that said to you? Do you mind standing up? Or, I don't know, what was it? We had a meeting. Do you remember? You want to regale us with that tale?
I literally told this story about an hour ago. I'm not kidding. I had my audition with you, and as we know, in the world of the pandemic, we Zoom. And you asked me, I had a couple of scenes that I auditioned with, and the big scene that I started with was the Jay and Allie first date dinner scene, which is a very long scene, and it's a lot of material, a lot of dialogue. And as an actor, I was like, I'm sitting for this, because that's what we did. We sat at dinner. And then the next scene, I believe it was the chapel, which at the time I don't remember exactly what the location.
The love tunnel.
Yeah, it was like
Oh, right.
or something like that. But yeah, so you were like, ooh, wow, can you stand for this one? Can you stand? I didn't have pants on. I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared to change my Zoom setting from sitting to standing. So I had to turn my camera off and mute myself to find another Amazon box to put under my computer to lift myself up to stand. That's it.
And then I got the part. It was fantastic. It was great. It was amazing. And how did we read together? Or was it just like, I just looked at your tape and it was just like, that's undeniable. Gigi Zumbado.
No, it was that. Sorry.
We didn't read?
No, we didn't read together.
No, I mean, when you came aboard, did we do the same thing? We must have had a meeting.
No, we didn't read. We only read together. I got it after I went in, and then I remember when I met with you, it was just like a director, just like, you're going to New Zealand in 2 days. He wants to talk to you. Make sure you're okay. I remember like the only note you gave me, you were like, okay, yeah, I love everything you did, I love everything you brought. You're so cool. I just wanted to make sure.
I'm Kristen Stewart, by the way.
That's a really good impersonation. You're
Totally, and I'm very much like Kristen.
just like, I just need to make sure you and Olivia have good chemistry. And I just need to make sure, I know you're flying and going straight to a fitting, and then you got the table ready, but can you just try to grab a coffee with this girl? And I was like, oh, I think we'll be fine. Like, I have other friends in LA that have worked with her. I think she's a cool girl. Like, I looked at her Instagram, she drank wine and I was like, he literally posted like wine and popcorn and cute outfits. I was like, we'll be fine. And Josh was like, dude, I know it's gonna be a busy day, but can you just try to grab a coffee with her in the hotel lobby? And we didn't. And we did not. But I was like, I swear it'll be fine. And now we sit together.
They're best friends.
They're in love.
It's beautiful. It's really
We
amazing.
got really lucky.
We got so lucky.
Like everyone got like kind of wrangled together at the last minute. There was like bit parts cast before like the major parts were cast and the names were cast. So and like this movie lives and dies on their chemistry, and it's
Well, again, this goes back to the duos, right? That this chemistry has to be up against kind of all of these different parts. Can you, I mean, they're not here, but like speaking of like Devin and Jordana, like that cast as well, like how that came together?
I mean, Devin was probably the first person that I wanted to be in this film. No joke. Like we were Instagram like talking for a while. I'm just like, this is Devin's film. He's like, love your work. And that's how he talks. It's like, hey man.
Was Casper also your sexual awakening?
Oh, completely. I found destination. I'm just like, that kid can play trauma. That's attractive. That's talent. But Devin, I was like, ooh, I'm really excited to see him play like kind of scumbag. And then I didn't quite know, none of us really knew who would be his counterpart. And the Jordana piece of it is so, it's just like, it just hits this nostalgic piece of like my film loving lizard brain. I'm like, that's the faculty and Final Destination and their partners. It just hits that early on.
it wasn't by design either. It
No,
just
not
came
at all.
out and I was like,
Not true.
it was.
Okay.
We didn't go in attempting to cast like horror royalty,
Yeah.
but thank God it worked out that way because it was so amazing. And she's fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
Like she was having a ball
Yeah.
playing it. Like she's like, I can do this all day. Like I don't want to play a villain for the rest of my life. So yeah, she was great. Licking his face and doing all that shit. It's like, don't cut, let her do whatever.
She's also such a student. She was like, tell me what to watch. And I was like, watch Ransom with Mel Gibson. Just look at Gary Sinise. Did you know this? And also watch Batman Returns. Just look over Michelle Pfeiffer and everything else. And she's like, yes, sir. I will read Ransom. I will watch Ron Howard's Ransom and Tim Burton's Batman Returns. Copy that. Copy that.
So funny.
That's incredible. I want to bring this, so Gigi and Olivia, and specifically for you, Olivia, there's so many things, you mentioned this, but like, the female friendship of this movie, beautiful, like chef's kiss, incredible. And then similarly, I just feel like, Olivia, you really get to shine. Even in the last scene where you get to propose, like, love these moments. What stood out to you in this role? And perhaps maybe you can even talk about, like, what were some of the moments that really resonated with you in the script and then that kind of came to fruition on screen?
It's a great question. I'm a sucker for a rom-com. I grew up loving anything from, Cameron Diaz to Kate Hudson to Reese Witherspoon, like those movies I worshipped. And as I got older, I really fell in love with genre movies. Like I fell in love with all sorts of horror. And it's so fascinating that I ended up in a perfect mashup of those specific genres. And I think for me, like, this friendship was so important to execute and to see on screen. Like, female friendships are so important for anybody to see, but I think I just really fell in love with like the idea that like Allie probably put her in like the category of scream queen, or can put her in the category of like, oh, like that's our hero, and that's like but she's so much more than that, and in a real charming way, and I think that's what makes this movie so special and really unique, and I really just like fell in love with this movie is so character driven, and I fell in love with every single one of these characters, and we really found it every single day. It felt like we were finding more beats and more detailed moments that felt so unique to the world that we were creating. And yeah, I will look back on this job as like one of the more memorable jobs because of that. And yeah, it was just a really fun experience, and I love this character. I love this movie.
Do you have anything to add? I think just in terms of coming in and playing against such a grounded, like constantly pulling your friend up. Your character, beyond with humor and grace, just shines on screen and just consistently telling her, like, girl, stop this. Like at every moment. And we all need someone like that. And what a fun role to play. But it's really beautiful and important in the film.
I think Liv, and this goes to what Josh was saying, I think Liv is a very easy person to want to support and to want to cheer on. And it goes into Allie. And there's obviously you're acting and it's different characters, but like I felt in New Zealand when we met, I don't know how many actors are in this room too, but like you have your role, you know if you're playing a leading lady, you know if you're playing the supportive best friend, you know if you're the funny best friend, what you're doing. And it was really fun to just champion Liv in this film and in life, like literally coming from her on the screen today that everybody needs to go see that movie too. But like she is the easiest person to champion and want to support and want to uplift, and I think that's what Monica's role is and was, and I think it was fun. I remember when I read the script and I said to my team, I was like, who's Allie? I was like, I didn't get the cast, and I was like, who's Allie? And it was Olivia Holt. Or that the offer was on Olivia Holt. And I was like,
And it's on my Instagram because I had good style.
she had really good style, and she liked to drink a glass of wine. I know who she needs, and that's me. And it was true, it worked out. And I like felt like Monica and Allie were like maybe not the friends that grew up together or were from the same class or the same neighborhood, but it was like these two girls that brought what they needed to work.
Yeah.
And they were each other's buddies in the office, and they probably would have not been friends if they weren't in the same office, and then they became besties.
Yeah.
And I think it was so sweet. And yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, Chris and I actually talked about it a lot when we were writing your characters, that like these two would never be friends with each other in any other situation.
Yeah.
Especially high school, like they would not be friends.
I would have bullied the shit out of her.
But we talked a lot about how the thing when we were writing Monica was like, we wanted to do the stereotypical best friend, but like in a fresh way. So like the consistent ride or die.
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't want them to have the typical girlfriend fight that you see in a rom-com between the best friend and the typical ride or die. We also wanted her advice to be real and not like, you're stupid, he's perfect, you know? It's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Get your shit together. And then with Allie, we really love that she says Jay every single time.
I know.
We wanted to put that from day one, we're like, she is gonna be
The badass.
the hero. She's gonna be the one, it's always the guy grabbing the girl's hand and pulling her along. And I love in the moment when she bashes Hardey's over with a lamp and then reaches out for Jay's hand. It's like the moment right there for me where it's like, this is a different movie. And I hope people thought that because she saves him like, it'd be fucking nice.
Mason Gooding is a damsel in distress.
He is. He's on the lost
Not for violence, they're for struggling.
Also, we're just like, you get stabbed like fucking crazy and scream, let's keep beating the shit out of him.
I mean, I also feel like Gigi too, like your character, I think if forgive me if I'm wrong, is like doesn't experience any blood splatter?
Unfortunately.
She's chilling.
She's chilling.
Every time I watch this movie, though, I'm like,
No, you have to tell. Like, you would FaceTime me, and you'd be like, what are you doing?
Oh my god. And I'd be on set covered in blood. And you'd be like,
Lily! I'm having nightcap!
I'm gonna get some drinks. And I'd be like 10 o'clock at night, and I'd be like, and I'm in New Zealand by myself. I'd be like, Lily! And I'd call, and I'd text her because she wouldn't answer first. And I'd be like, do I get drinks? Do we get dinner? Because she
it's like, no, we're having breakfast at
She
11
wouldn't
p.m.
call me.
so-
She would FaceTime me and just be like, G. And she was drenched in blood. And she's like, my day started an hour ago. And it was like 9 or 10. And I was like, I forget. You have to run around all day. You have to do crazy makeup and
Come
makeup
on,
in
make
your
it up,
blood.
honey.
I'm so sorry. And she'd be like, no, but if you want to be at my house when I grab and you have like food on the stove, me and Mason will come by after. okay, I'll go and cook for you guys.
I do regret actually not bringing Monica into the fold. We tried, it just didn't make sense to bring her in because it was really, the focus was Jay and Ellie in Act 2 and Act 3, but maybe if we do another one of these, there might be a lot more Monica.
So other developments, I know we were gonna have another special guest with us, Tony Gardner, who created the mask for this film. So Josh, can you talk about working with Tony and again, like kind of creating the look as you came onto this project and the mask, kind of like the ultimate decision for that?
It was amazing. Basically, you just say, all right, we know we want to homage Clive Barker and a little bit of kink, because we started, like, Landon Kennedy originated this idea of wanting to create a kinky look for this killer. So we started very Hellraiser. It was a little, My Bloody Valentine, she was like,
Doesn't need a leather-studded harness.
Okay, maybe we'll compromise on that. What was really awesome was what he does is create these 3D renders that are, that are to size what it would look like on, in 360 on a human being. So you get to see, what would this thing look like from the side, from the front. And so we just start whittling down what would a hard eyes emoji mask look like, intimidating, like, oh, okay, how's this gonna go? And we ended up backing into this this really iconic look that's centered in part by Chandra Watson, who's our brilliant wardrobe designer. It's centered because of the very, very simple all black outfits. You just have this ugly yellow pop. But we always kept piling on like an email thread, like, ooh, maybe the eyes are a little less symmetrical.
Too yellow, not enough yellow.
And Chris Landon suggested oxidized blood, like a blood wipe. And that said to me, that broadcasted history. It was like, ooh, whose is that? When did that happen? And the mesh mouth and everything else. I wanted to put a Bluetooth speaker in the mouth so it floated out romantic tunes. Maybe if we do another one. But either way,
This idea was the veins. There's vein.
Totally Tony. So all I wanted to do was light up eyes. I just wanted light up eyes and a utility belt because I'm a child. And we ended up with this iconic thing. I mean, we were just at our first horror convention. We were at Killer Fitness last night, another screen. People are dressing up like this hair. It's amazing. It's like incredible.
It's incredible. Like, I've had people tell us that it's the first look since Ghostface that they feel is like the a memorable mask look, which is really cool.
You wanna put money on this?
Put 6 more movies on
I agree. And that's what I was gonna say is so incredible about the film. Clearly, it's a movie that loves movies. There's so much, it's self-referential. And it's so interesting hearing you talk about the mask, because again, once a movie, you're done with it, it then becomes ours, right? Like you've let it go, so that all of our audience is now something for us to be a part of. And what I will say like about the mask is, to me, it's this, so many things that I'm familiar with that I've seen in cinema, and then it's also something new, right? So and then that sweet spot creates this where I can like trust that it's creepy because I know it, and then at the same time it's very fresh.
I remember when the movie was announced, people were like,
oh, hard eyes emoji? What is that gonna look like?
and look like that.
But so, can you then talk about again this? You're clearly already referencing when you're talking to the actor, different actors about what you watched, but there's so many great movie references. Like, what is maybe a favorite Easter egg of yours in the film that maybe someone didn't pick up on?
Okay, let's go back to Gary Sinise as Jimmy Shaker in Ransom. In the end, he's wearing an arm cast. Jordan was wearing an arm cast with her laser wrapped around her shoulders. So,
I love the way it's going to be like, everyone have to go to the video store.
These all, like, truly, they had everything here. But,
No, I'm sorry.
so obscure. Oh no, it's so, no, but again, as I was saying, Jordan pictured as Gary Sinise with the shoulders was really important to me.
My favorite is the knife is modeled after Jason Voorhees in Friday 6.
Yes, that's true.
It's the same knife.
And Elliot is like, the shark tail for me, like shark tail. Her family's favorite genre movie. No, film.
Do you want to speak on your own behalf about what might be your Easter egg or favorite genre movie reference?
Shark Tale.
Yeah, how much shark tail did we put in?
Do we have car wash songs?
In my top letterbox for it doesn't matter. I mean, there's so many references. I don't know if I have a fave. You know what's really interesting is you saying like that there's what, like, you go back like 40, 50, 60 years of how long horror movies have been made, and we reference those. Like, it's important that we do that, and we did. And I was born in the late 90s, so there's a lot of those movies that I didn't grow up with. So I'm kind of in that category of people that feels new, right? But as an actor, I've seen a lot of those movies, so I feel like I'm in a little bit of a different category. But I look at people like my brother, who's 24 and hasn't seen a lot of the Scream movies, or hasn't seen a lot. Like, he didn't grow up with it, so. It's interesting as, like, I look at him and I'm like, what do you think of our movie? And he's like, oh, like, it's so fun, it's so, like, I'm scared, but, like, it's new, it's fresh for him, and it's cool that I get to see, like, a new generation fall in love with a new killer, and I love that, I love it. I love that I get to be a part of a potential franchise in that way.
Absolutely.
I can give you is it a student
Yeah.
reference?
Well, there's a lot of good references.
Well, anyone who knows me here knows I'm this cute, like probably the biggest Scream fan in the world. So I always weasel something from one of the Scream films in my movies. And Chief Hartley is the name of the chief in Scream 2.
That's right.
And Chief Richard Hartley is his full name, and it's his full name in Scream 2. So that's my
I know,
Easter egg.
speaking of your writing, I mean, Gigi, you got to say one of like this great line.
I will have to say that was Josh.
Okay, I'm gonna explain the monologue real quick. I didn't tell anybody. How do we do that? Do you want to tell them? We were like texting. It was like,
That's like a
So
secret.
you
It was a
like,
plan.
like legs or hands while you say it. No, that's you, Josh. That's all you.
No, do you remember? It was just like, okay, so when we get it on camera.
Oh yeah, Josh was like, he said to, sorry guys, I gotta have an idea. He was like, it wasn't in the script, and you sent me a version where like, I don't want anyone to know. If you're okay with it was my last scene that I shot, and like Liv was wrapped for the night, and she stayed behind just to watch me do this limousine scene.
Yeah.
And she had a very cold. But Josh was just like, on the day, I want to reference as many rom-coms as you can. This is where I'm at. If you can think of any other ones, add it in there. And he like, I remember like the hotel printed out just that one. It wasn't in the script. It was just like that one monologue. And you were like, whatever else can fit in there, do. And I was like, how like cheesy do you want to get there? Because like I can throw down some.
She's really good.
Your poll was create some kind of wonderful. I was like, oh yeah, throw in, Notting Hill, and, whatever the
We
other.
got Clueless in there. We got a couple. We
know,
Oh
bridesmaids.
yeah, but there's usually laughter when you go, some kind of crazy wonderful stupid love. Actually, and like, if you listen, she does say actually, but like, it was incredible because I think we shot that in,
Over time, it was like, you
yeah,
had to
like
go.
2 minutes.
Devin wrapped, I think, 10 minutes before. We went from like Devin's death scene, which was with Olivia,
We had,
on
like,
like
30
one side of the
minutes to shoot.
stage. And then they were like, Gigi, you need to be in the limo for lighting while they're shooting Devin's. I only got out of the limo to just like cheer him on for his rap. Liv had to rap, and they're like, you gotta go, we can't pay overtime. And she's like, I'm staying! And she stayed, and Josh was like, let her stay! And we did that, I think, twice.
30 minutes. 30 minutes of shooting.
Gigi nailed the first one that was
But we
scripted.
no one knew we were even doing it.
And then I was like, are you ready to do the second option? She's like, yes. And then she's like, blah, blah, blah. And the claps that we heard through like 9 walls of our football field set was amazing.
But that's like literally my favorite references, and I don't know if everybody catches. Josh was so specific with that. It's so quick. The montage when we're shopping, every one of her outfits is a different movie. It's Clueless. It's not. Is it Breakfast at Tiffany's? It's Pretty. What's freaking Julia?
Romeo and Michelle.
Romeo and Michelle. Every single outfit.
Dresses and
Every single thing.
There's a
she
little
tries
blossom
on is
too?
so-
Blossom.
A little blossom. It's so good and it's so perfectly understated that I remember when you like had it on, I was like, this is so fun. Like it was really a fun day to watch her do that and like to get to be a part of that. And like Josh was just like, what's the music? He gave me like your SoundCloud and you plugged it in and you were like, what do you think's gonna make Olivia dance?
I was like, what's the youth want? You know
It
what
was the Lizzie McGuire soundtrack, like the Lizzie McGuire movie soundtrack. And Liv was just like, and that was it. That was that.
Can you imagine if I was just like, okay, so it's a Lizzie McGuire soundtrack. My choice.
It's in my favorites.
It's my favorite. Hey now. Hey now.
Let's require karaoke right now. Let's do it.
There you go.
She's back on tour, you guys. It's a big deal.
I win. I'm at Hillary.
Icon.
So,
One day.
anyway.
With the levity, we get it paired with some wonderful gore. Like truly so much fun. Audience in the back, the brain splattering in the beginning, and they're like, it was great. Can you just talk about the approach to try and make something feel very original when you clearly have such an understanding and maybe reverence for or of horror and the genre that you're like, we just want to ensure that it feels fresh.
The way to make kills feel fresh, in my opinion, is specificity. So the more specific you can get, like my favorite in this film is an arrow, not so much here or here, but one that just kind of goes just enough to take out the bridge of your nose and one eye. It's messed up.
Chris Landon always, when he and I are writing, he always sounds psycho when he tells the story, so I'm gonna tell it for him since he's not here. But he can walk into a room and figure out a way to kill you like 20 times in like 10 minutes. He like looks around and goes, oh, I can probably use that to kill something. So like that's why in his movies,
They're not creepy at all.
not creepy at all.
Like, do you have a book? Do you have this in a book?
Do you have any sort of watch list? Yeah, but like he and Josh and I combined kind of have a trio of fucked up brains when it comes to that kind of stuff. It was really fun to implement it. Because that was the fun thing too, is we went in knowing, and we knew Josh was perfect for this too, we went in knowing we wanted it to be hiking more to balance out the rom-com.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was gonna be very visceral.
The beautiful thing was our crew in New Zealand had pretty much just done the new Evil Dead, so I got to tell these like very sweet New Zealand crew, okay, that's the viscosity, that's the color I want. And the head of our VFX department was named Steph, who spoke very, very softly, but about very gory stuff. And he's like, they actually wouldn't be here. You get epidemic on the town. The head trauma would actually sort of explode in the eyes. It's just very, instead we just like, do they well, the blood would actually, and I was like, how do you actually know how the blood? So you rely on your team, you know what I mean?
It's beautiful. Again, so much fun.
We're back. Like we're back.
I am getting the note that we're gonna have to wrap this up, but I want to leave this with one last question for everybody, which is kind of just thinking again about one, seeing you guys all just hug each other and how much fun this set was, seems like. And the set pieces, to me, phenomenal. We have a winery, we have a drive, there's a church. What was your favorite set and why?
Or is anyone answering?
Everyone.
Oh,
Roll
Roman.
answer that.
I-
You go down the road or some, I'll
I'll start, because I have an easy answer. I'm really proud of this. The chapel is really special to me because we actually, up until about 2 weeks before shooting, it was a different location. It was gonna be in an amusement park like Tunnel of Love. And we thought that was cool. We thought that was really cool when we originally wrote it. Like,
That is
very visual, it was gonna be very neon, it was gonna be all these different things and stuff. But we were kind of battling budget and time and all that kind of stuff. And Josh and I and our producer Greg brainstormed, and Lauren, Josh's wife, kind of had a nugget of a kernel of an idea about like maybe using some sort of chapel in the finale, and that's like when it clicked for me, like, oh my god, St. Valentine's Day chapel. I googled St. Valentine's Day because I totally forgot that he like was bad. I was like, so I really love it because it's so simple. The original location would have been really cool, but it would have been so much more work. And that was one of the reasons we had to get rid of it. But it also, like, we found like this tie for Janine and David's relationship. We just like, it's so crazy how the script, whether it's on paper or not on paper, just keeps being written as you're getting closer. And we like found another layer for our villains in that moment. And we found like a visual component for like to me the chapel stands for where Mason and Olivia are gonna end up at the end of the movie with the engagement and stuff. And by the way, that is a non-horror set piece that I'm so proud of because we got so much pushback for Allie being the one who proposed. They wanted it to be, there was like so many arguments. It was like the one argument, like the studio, and we all got invites with about like how the movie was gonna end, and they kept saying just have the movie together. Like the audience is not gonna want to leave the movie and go, yay, they're moving in together. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Domestic partners.
yeah, like, it's so soft. So like we found a great compromise. That's where the key came from, and the proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my answers.
I just remember that my snot was black when we shot the chapel because we had real candles.
Do you remember the number?
The number of
Do you remember
candles?
the number of candles in the chapel?
Where'd you go?
I don't remember.
But they were like 70
It
hours.
was seven, it was like somewhere in the 700.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
700?
Every day. Every day they lit at least 700 candles.
Did you guys get a fire alarm go off one day and you texted, I'm asleep.
Yeah, we had the fire department come, it was.
Oh, yeah, we did. I do know that when the moment we wrapped, they played Smash Mouth. Because when there's tension on my set, or really any time on my set, I'll just go, some, and then just watch as everybody's brains kind of resets. Like, I can't possibly get in an argument now. I have to say body. But we say it, we do it so much, and then you all bought me a Smash Mouth CD on my birthday down there. That was the best. We do a lot of song.
Was it the chapel for you?
It's a tie between the chapel because I mean we spent the last 2 weeks of filming in that set and yeah, like for a while it really felt like home with 700 candles every single day. It's between the chapel but the drive-in. The drive-in was like I mean, when I think of movies, and when I think of movie making, the drive-in is, I mean, it felt like, I remember walking on set and it just feeling like a movie set. I mean, I don't, and you guys can probably speak to how many set cars we had, and then like,
15, I think.
it felt like a million.
Yeah.
We walked on set and it was, I mean, there were like, there was like a huge, like, amazing, like, all these background actors and all these, like, amazing cars and, like, this huge, just, like, everything just, like, felt so massive and big and the stunts, like, on top of, like, it just, like, felt big. And we shot that over a couple of days, but I think that was probably one of my favorite sets, just to, like, honestly witness, like, not even just, like, acting in, but just to, like, see. It was really cool, and we did it right on the water. We were, obviously, you guys know our location was New Zealand, and, which was crazy that we shot all the way in New Zealand and our setting was Seattle, but crazy how that works.
Looks
My
just like.
hotel's in the background of the drive.
Yeah, you can see Gigi, if you really look in the background, Gigi's on her balcony, and she's like, I really love that set just because we shot it over just like a couple of days, but I mean, everyone gave their all. I mean, everybody just really committed to screaming and running and you feel it in that scene and yeah, I really love that set. I don't know why. I appreciate everyone's commitment.
That scene also represents like what the movie is.
Yeah.
True love, dirty metal, murder story.
Yeah.
That scene though, when you guys, like, when everyone's running, I don't even know if I talked to you about this, Josh, it feels so like Jaws to me.
It does.
Like, it feels like everybody running out of the water in Jaws.
Gigi, did you have anything that you would like to add in terms of a favorite set?
No, I mean, my favorite set.
The mall.
It was probably the drive-in. I didn't get to shoot at the drive-in, but there was a day that Olivia hopped on the back of a line scooter and drove her to set on the drive-in. And I did pull up that day and I was like, wow, this is great.
You weren't in a horror movie. You were in a straight up just in a rom-com.
He was riding in a limo, going to her boyfriend's house.
But, like, anytime Gigi came to a horror set, she showed up on a live scooter with me. Like, she wasn't in a horror movie.
On the back of a line, she's like, we got lunch because they had night shoots. And I was just by myself on there. She's like, fine, I'll get lunch with you before I have to go to work, but I have to be there by 4. And we were late. And I was like, let's get a line. And she's like, great. And she just hopped on the back of this lime scooter.
Yeah.
We did. We scooted her like set.
We don't tell very many people this story, so you guys are an exclusive here tonight.
Scooted her all the way to set, and we pulled up, and I was like, y'all are making a goddamn movie. I was like, this is big picture. This is a lot of background.
I walked Gigi through the drive-through set, and I said, "No!" I looked at our entire crew, who only knows Gigi in the rom-com portion of our movie.
I think they're like,
Y'all remember Gigi? She's in the rom-com part of our movie.
It's so funny to think that like the whole time you're running around in the movie, Monica's like, I don't know, having dinner.
yeah.
Feeling low, going to the panic room.
She's chilling. I want to fight.
Her arthritic boyfriend.
The stories we tell of these other
We
characters.
could be here all night. Y'all got here till 3 a.m. 2, 3
Oh yeah,
But guys, Gary Sinise, for me and Jordana, it just works. So that's it. That's just it.
And on that note, we all have to go to the video store, like we actually do, to take some photos. So, this movie, by the way, is remarkable. It's so much fun. It's very scary. There's so many wonderful references. I love that we got to bring it here to Vidiots.
Thank you so much
It is
for having us.
a movie that everybody, like these types of movies need your help. They need letterbox reviews. They need to be told your friends. You need to tell your friends to see that. They need to become cult classics around Valentine's Day, which is exactly why we screened it now. So thank you all so much for joining us. If you like my definitely we're gonna give them a huge round of applause, but please stay in your seats as we walk our guests out, and we hope to see you back at the movies.
Thank you guys so much.